Hi, today I'm going to be reading an essay I wrote in 2013 called Powerful or Powerless, and it was inspired by a book I read called The Execution of Noa P. Singleton. This piece made me think about the ideas of power and how that starts as a child and continues through our adult lives. So I wrote this piece in 3 short vignettes, and the first one I called As a Child. Harvey Fierstein says, "You may feel powerless as a child, but the world will one day be yours, and you're responsible for it. So seize the day and take charge of it." It wasn't far from my 6th grade classroom to our cozy little house on the tree-lined street. Classic Americana small-town living. Our family of 6 squished into the brown shingled house with the cork tree out front. We played on the street, kicking the can, or legendary games of hide-and-seek nearly every summer night. But this afternoon the street was eerily quiet as I pedaled my green Schwinn 1-speed down the lane and pulled into the driveway. Walking up the curved-lined path, I was surprised at the lack of activity. Cautiously, I opened the front door and stepped inside. My footsteps echoed on the hardwood floors as I slowly stepped down the hall, gazing into each empty room. "Mom?" I called to no one. I walked past the bathroom, sterile in its emptiness, and towards the cozy room I shared with my younger sister. Empty. And my brother's room looked sad, empty of trucks, Legos, and Lincoln Logs. I continued down to my parents' room, realizing what I would find wasn't there, but hoping it was. As I retraced my steps, I found myself whispering goodbye to each room. I wandered through the living room with the picture window facing the garden where our Christmas tree used to stand. The family room where Sesame Street, Julia Child, and Sonny and Cher broadcast out of our black and white, and into the kitchen. Empty. Returning to the front hall, I paused, looked back, and wiped a tear from my face. "Goodbye, house," I mouthed as I shut the door, climbed on my bike, and rode away. Powerless, I never looked back. As a young woman. Being tall is an advantage, especially in business. People will always remember you. And if you're in a crowd, you'll always have some clean air to breathe. That was Julia Child. It was Bastille Day in Paris, 1989. We were young, in love, and spending the summer with packs on our backs and Eurail passes in our pockets. Fresh from the Louvre, we ambitiously boarded the train back to our hostel. Feeling relieved to find a seat, I carefully clutched my recent purchase. 2 Monet reproduction posters, just waiting to be framed and hung on our bedroom wall. "S'il vous plaît, quittez le train. S'il vous plaît, quittez le train." The announcer broadcast in rapid-fire French. My brain processed as quickly as I could. All I could translate was, "Please exit the train," before dozens of Parisians began climbing over each other, terror on their faces. That we understood. I felt myself getting squished down in the melee, my Monets still tightly in my grasp. Panic had set in, and the announcer continued to blare his message of terror. Suddenly I felt someone grab my arm. In an instant I was swept off my feet, powerless to the crowd. I sailed over subway seats, moving to the exit with amazing speed. My other arm still clutching my Monets, I somehow landed on my feet and gazed up at my boyfriend with great relief. "Run!" he shouted, as we dashed for the stairs leading up and out of the metro, panic coursing through our bodies. As we reached the stairs, suddenly the tension eased and the crowd began to laugh. "Le prochain train arrive sous peu. Merci." This time, my college-level French completely left me. Language fail had left me powerless. But as I watched the next train calmly pull up behind us, I realized we were safe. As a mother. Helen Keller says, "It is for us to pray not for tasks equal to our powers, but for powers equal to our tasks, to go forward with a great desire forever beating at the door of our hearts as we travel toward our distant goal." It just seemed like the right thing to do for some crazy reason. A leap of faith, maybe, that my children and I would be safe. Months of preparation led up to this point. Immunizations, packing, fundraising, and studying the Nicaraguan culture, and finally we were ready to leave. As we gathered together in the airport, I was seized with anxiety. What was I doing? Taking my kids to a country I'd never been to with people I don't know, to spend 2 weeks of hard work building a school in uncertain circumstances. Sleep wasn't an option on our red-eye flight to Managua. As we gently descended, my anxiety ebbed, then released. We were here. I could do this, even alone. It was a few days later when we met him, a doe-eyed 9-year-old boy with closely shaved hair and no shoes. His name was Victor, and he wore the same red jersey and yellow shorts to the work site each day, darting out of the bushes as our Toyota truck clambered up the dirt road. He became our only real reason for going to the work site. His smile was that powerful. Cameron and he bonded, spending hours together scampering around the school site, finger knitting friendship bracelets and conversing easily in Spanish. When the last day came, my tears flowed freely. Cameron hugged me as we drove away, assuring me it would be okay, and actually, in some new ways I knew he was right. It would be okay. We would be okay. This powerful experience would forever be etched in our heart, and Victor's smile forever on my mind. We did this. I did this for my kids, and nothing could quite compare.